Welcome back to African Insights, your number one channel for deep dives into Africa's biggest political and economic stories. After a short break, we're back with an explosive episode on Kenya's political turmoil. From mass protests that shook the country to Raila Odinga's shocking loss at the African Union and Kenya's deteriorating relationships with Congo and Sudan, President William Ruto has faced some of his biggest challenges yet. But how did things get here? What does this mean for Kenya's future? Let's break it all down. It all started in June 2024 when the Kenyan government proposed the Finance Bill, a controversial plan aimed at increasing taxes to reduce national debt. But Kenyans had had enough. The protests, largely driven by Kenya's Gen Z, quickly turned into a nationwide movement. On June 25th, demonstrators stormed Parliament, setting parts of the building on fire. The police responded with live ammunition. At least 19 people lost their lives, over 160 were injured, and the entire country was in shock. The pressure was too much, and within 24 hours, President Ruto was forced to withdraw the bill. But the damage was done. His approval ratings plummeted, and the youth-led movement had reshaped Kenya's political landscape. Meanwhile, in a bid to solidify Kenya's influence on the continent, Raila Odinga made a historic attempt to become the next chairperson of the African Union Commission. But despite being a seasoned politician and enjoying Ruto's backing, Raila lost to Djibouti's Mahmoud Ali Yusuf. After 7 rounds of voting, the final tally was 33 votes against Raila's 22. So, what went wrong? Many analysts point to Kenya's growing diplomatic tensions and internal instability. Some African leaders were reportedly hesitant to back a candidate from a country facing its own governance crisis. Others argue that Raila's strong ties to the West played against him. Speaking of diplomacy, Kenya's relationship with some of its key neighbors has been deteriorating. In December 2023, Corneille Nangaa, leader of the Alliance Fleuve Congo, a group affiliated with the M23 rebels, announced an insurrection from Nairobi. President Ruto defended this event, citing Kenya's commitment to freedom of speech. This stance strained relations with DRC President Felix Tshisekedi, leading to the DRC recalling its ambassador from Kenya. Further complicating matters, domestic political tensions between President Ruto and his predecessor, Uhuru Kenyatta, have reportedly weakened Kenya's commitment to the DRC peace process. This internal discord has undermined the effectiveness of the East African Community Regional Force, EACRF, in addressing the conflict in eastern DRC. Meanwhile, Kenya's diplomatic crisis with Sudan took an even sharper turn after Nairobi's involvement in Sudan's ongoing civil war. In February 2025, Kenya hosted representatives from Sudan's paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, in Nairobi. During the meeting, the RSF signed a charter to establish a parallel government, a move perceived by Sudan's official administration as a blatant violation of its sovereignty. The fallout was swift. Sudan recalled its ambassador to Kenya and suspended all imports, dealing a heavy blow to trade relations between the two nations. Despite the rising tensions, President Ruto has publicly urged all parties in the Sudan conflict to engage in genuine and inclusive dialogue. He maintains that Kenya's role is to facilitate peace efforts rather than interfere in Sudan's internal affairs. On the home front, Ruto is fighting battles within his own government. In October 2024, Deputy President Gachagua was impeached over corruption allegations. His removal sparked controversy, with some claiming it was politically motivated. Gachagua has challenged his impeachment in court, setting the stage for more political drama. At the same time, Ruto's ruling party and the opposition signed a cooperation pact in March 2025. But is this a true sign of unity or just another way to silence opposition voices? Amid all this, Kenya's global reputation is taking a hit. Reports of police brutality, enforced disappearances, and crackdowns on journalists have drawn criticism from international human rights organizations. With Kenya now sitting on the United Nations Human Rights Council, the global community is watching closely. Will Ruto address these issues, or will Kenya's democratic image suffer irreparable damage? From internal protests to diplomatic tensions, Ruto's presidency has been anything but smooth. The next few months will be critical in shaping Kenya's political and economic future. What do you think lies ahead for Kenya? Will Ruto survive these storms? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to African Insights for more thought-provoking content on Africa's biggest stories.